Unmute. How's that?
Well, we lost Shane.
It's still, and Shane disappeared. Nice.
Nice.
He had to make a dramatic entrance.
I had to go to the green room and get some more crackers.
There you go. Yeah, got to go to the green room. That's right.
We're that fancy nowadays.
So, happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Happy Mother's Day, guys.
It is a holiday for all of us because unless you are an amoeba or something, you actually have, or, well, you know what? Truth is you still have a mother, no matter what your circumstances are. So, Happy Mother's Day to everybody. How's that? Good quiet day. Oh, except for Nancy. I refuse to wish Nancy Happy Mother's Day because she is mothering that moose that is technically kidnapped. So,
I got you a partner to go get that moose.
what is that? Alf?
Yeah. He stole He-Man stuff.
Oh, jeez. Cool.
That is
what in the world is something? I guess my wife is moving furniture upstairs for some reason. I don't know what for. I'll be moving my stuff out. I might be in for a surprise at the end of the show. Maybe Mother's Day wasn't as much fun as I thought it was.
Well, you got to look at the silver lining. She's moving stuff out. More room for figures.
No, that's not how that works. No, that's not how that works. Happy Mother's Day, Nancy. I'm just kidding you. I'm just teasing. I have to. I'm obligated. Got Corey with us this week. This is, again, we're on YouTube now. So, again, if you're going to be waiting for us to pop back up on Facebook, if you're either watching us later or tonight, it's not going to happen. So we are on our new home. So just keep that in mind for the future.
Yep. If you're watching us on Facebook right now, you're not seeing us.
That's right. So
just so all you watching us on Facebook know that.
That's right.
at least you'll further notice.
Well, their policy may change, but yeah, just in case you're watching us later and you go, I'll watch them on, it's not going to happen. We're not on Facebook.
I did share the link to the YouTube channel and the group. Watch them there.
We'll do what we can. We'll get caught up.
Well, once again, we apologize. It's not us.
Out of our control. So, if you choose to use a service such as StreamYard, which makes life a lot easier for us to produce a webcast, Facebook has decided that no third-party software on their groups anymore. So,
you can use it on your page, but
yep. But if it's in a group, forget it. So they, like I said, and they ain't figured out how to make money off of it yet. So that's my opinion.
And it's a pretty good opinion, also.
I think that's exactly what's going on. So, see, you just, I apologize to her. And then Shane's going to stir the pot because that post is 18 minutes old at this point in time. So
I've been busy.
That's right.
Sharing to all the groups and stuff that watch us.
That's right. So, anyways, what do we think? Hey, Corey, what do you got for lighting there? You're like the shadow there. The heck's going on?
Oh, I don't even have no lighting on.
Yeah,
I never
buy one.
So
you got to buy one.
See if I can adjust a little bit.
Oh no, actually, go back to where you were. I was wrong. That was.
No, his light bulb burned out long ago.
Yeah, we can see you better. So go back to where you were. Let's pick on Corey night, apparently.
Oh wait, this will make everything better.
Oh, there you go.
Much better.
Much better.
No shines from the backside.
So let's. Corey got something cool he wants to show everybody, and let's do that before he injures himself with them. So
yeah, okay. He got some pictures. That's the guy got it from there. If y'all want this, he's a real good guy. Because it got lost in the mail. He worked with me, and we finally found it. I've always thought about upgrading the Wolverine claws on the older Wolverine X-Men.
This can be found on eBay?
eBay, yes, sir.
Okay.
So I got a wild hair, and I decided to upgrade to some metal claws for Wolverine.
Interesting.
There's him I put him on the tiger stripe Wolverine. I got some more pictures of some of the crappier Wolverines, and there's some of my pickups in the back: Armored He-Man and Roddy Piper this month, and Mech-a-Neck. Now that Wolverine right there, that's the one. He's actually got the good plastic claws. You can see how thicker they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next picture is I can't remember what Wolverine that is right there. That right there, that's the yellow and brown. That's got the little flimsy claws. That's what I replaced on the tiger stripe one. Like I said, the first one I accidentally cut myself putting them in, and there's Weapon X. I'm gonna get him some claws too. You can see how warped they are, and they come out of the package that way. On Weapon X there.
Yeah.
Like I said, they weren't that sharp. I just kind of caught myself on an edge, but I used a pair of vice grips to put the rest of them in.
So can you tell me what we're looking at here for those that don't know?
Them were stainless steel.
Stainless steel metal.
Yeah, there's a tutorial on YouTube to how to put them in. The only thing you do is just heat the hands up with a hair dryer, and they got little sharp cleats on the back side. You just stick them in. They're not glued or anything. And like I said, well worth the $14. Well, I think it was $15 and a few cents upgrade. Well worth it.
Boy, somebody out there makes everything now, don't they? You can think of it. Somebody makes it.
Oh yeah. The guy also makes targets for firearms too.
Yeah, I see those AR 500 steel targets.
Which are not a bad price on these targets either. But like I said, I think the claw upgrade on this thing is awesome.
It's a simple process to install them. Can you explain how you install them?
Yeah, just
into detail.
The other ones are easy just to come out. You just pull on them. You know, if anybody's got a Wolverine, you know how flimsy they are. Don't use water because they are stainless steel. Use a hair dryer or a heat gun to just warm up the hand itself after you remove the claws, and just grab one and just push the cleat in. And it's got like a little metal cleat on the inside. It goes into the hand, and as soon as it cools off, they're in there.
And you do suggest using a pair of pliers, correct?
Well, if you're intelligent. And don't cut yourself on a weird awkward angle like me. You can just use your hands. But if you're mentally challenged like I am, I want to wear a pair of pliers
or some chainmail gloves.
Well, what that? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in one of those moods tonight, guys.
It's all right with me. I'm fine.
Okay, so let's take a look back at the name of this guy, Owl Creek Fabrications.
Yep. On I'll spit it out in a minute. He's on
eBay.
eBay, yes, sir. And that positive rating is great.
98,000 or 39,000 items sold, so that's pretty good.
Like I said, our local post office, because it come in an envelope, and they was looking for a package, lost it for 8 days, but he was willing to send me another set.
Okay. So if you're looking for some sharp claws for your Wolverine action figures, you know where to go now.
There you go.
And he has 3 different variations. I went with the ones that I like, but he's got some that's a little bit more blunter and wide, and he's got some that's a little bit more thinner too.
So Corey should have went with the one that was a little more blunt.
That's true.
Because there was blood involved in the installation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Corey's
Logan draw blood.
claws.
And like I said, there he is.
Well, just tell him like it is, Shane. Don't be blunt.
There he is. Logan, he drew blood.
They probably ought to have a warning tag with that figure. Somebody's going to reach up there and grab that and get impaled or something.
Well, if they get impaled in here, there's only one person supposed to be in here, and that's me. So,
Oh, there you go. Cat's taking a bath. That's always good too.
So when we say on the news,
I have seen. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say when we say on the news, a man died for being stabbed by an action figure when it was Corey.
Yeah.
I have seen them, but he don't have none. They do make X-23 in metal too. They make the metal toe claw for her.
Fun.
Sounds kind of dangerous to me.
Yeah, can you imagine a kid getting a hold of you throwing toys at each other? And
Well, he does have a disclaimer for display only.
yeah, exactly.
I can see me displaying them.
No simulated combat. Awesome. No, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah, they are cool. I do like them.
yeah, that's very cool.
I mean, people in our group that collects Marvel, I guarantee you 99.9% of them has at least one Wolverine in their collection.
Oh, well, yeah, they'd have to, right?
I got 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moneymaker, so they're going to make them.
Oh, yeah.
It'll
And
make
there's
what
probably
sells.
about 15 to come with a new Deadpool and Wolverine movie
Oh,
coming
geez,
out.
yeah, for sure.
Well, the reason I decided to do this, he had flimsy claws in the new 97 Wolverine from the TV show. It was like $70-something, and there's very little difference in the Renew Your Vows 3-pack or whatever love triangle they called it. So I just upgraded for $14. Just upgraded the claws.
Cool. Very cool. Like I said,
The new Wolverine is going for how much now?
$75.
So maybe I ought to snag up some, huh?
oh,
Well, if you
jeez.
snag that one, you snag me one.
For $75.
$75.
If you can find one.
I may know where there's two at.
What variation is that one?
The X-Men 97 from the
That
animated
one,
series.
okay, yeah.
From the new
that
series.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I understand Rogue's a pretty high figure too.
I know where two of them are now, too. Just got restocked, if they're still there.
Which I like my original Rogue before it on the retro card, so I didn't upgrade her. But I plan on upgrading 2 or 3 of them. I'm gonna upgrade. I know there's a beast coming. I'm gonna upgrade him, and that's pretty much all I'm looking to upgrade. Everybody's thinking we're gonna get a Professor X with a hover chair. I don't think so. I think we're gonna get now. There's one coming, but I think it's gonna be the one where he's back. He's on the alien planet. And he's got that mech suit where he's walking or where he can walk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that I read an article on that story on that cartoon the other day that was very interesting because apparently the writer of that already wrote season 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he got booted out of Disney before that first episode even aired, and they will not talk about it.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of like going, wait a minute, in the world the way it is today, if it was so bad no one will talk about it, it's got to be pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he ruffles some feathers inside Disney. He was a writer on what was the video game franchise that come out with Henry Cavill, The Witcher. And he was the only one that went with Henry Cavill when Henry Cavill wanted to keep it as close to the game as possible.
Yeah.
And he was the only writer that went with Cavill.
And, all of that may be true, but it seems like people wouldn't be afraid to talk about that. they're like radio silence on this guy.
Well, the reason they're not talking about it, he's a gay black guy.
Well,
that don't matter to me. I think the first season's awesome.
I can't imagine Disney being all upset about that. He must have done something that's got to be pretty bad.
Well,
because
they claim he's got a shirtless picture in his OnlyFans.
He's got an OnlyFans page.
There you go. Now you know why the Disney booted him, probably.
Well,
everybody's got OnlyFans nowadays.
Yeah, that pretty well answers that, doesn't it? Jeez Louise. Yeah, mystery solved. Sorry I even asked.
But I kind of think it's more because he backed Henry Cavill in the whole Witcher deal.
I thought Witcher was Netflix.
It is.
Yeah, well, it is, but you know how the industry's all connected.
Yeah, I suppose that is true. Everybody owns everything else. So, cool clause, though. I don't want to talk about guys on OnlyFans. I'm not interested.
I just hope they get him back. I signed a petition for for season 3 because so far his first season he nailed it.
I got to tell you, Corey, I'm a little intrigued by how it is you know all that. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I love X-Men, man.
Okay, well, as long as it's just
X-Men, not X-Women. I love X-Men. There's a difference, and not that way.
I was starting to think about this OnlyFans stuff. You've been looking at people's feet and fingers and stuff, covered in chocolate.
He's got a claw.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. That's a separate discussion for a separate channel. I won't go into that, but I just don't see the appeal in that. But whatever.
All right,
us three won't be hosting that channel.
We're so far off the rails, we're almost derailed at this point. So I apologize. It's my fault.
Yes, it is. Once again,
I'll do it again later. For right now, let's get back on track. How's that?
Yeah. So yesterday I went to the Bama Flea Mall in Leeds.
Yes.
If nobody has ever been there, it's pretty good. They've got a lot of stuff in there. I only got to see about half of the building, but it's really nice. They got 400 plus vendors, so it's really big. Didn't really find anything I wanted. John found a few things. Wait, John, that's right. I got to run into these bunch of bums while I was there.
What terrible.
That has to be the nicest flea market I've ever seen in my life.
Man, it is really nice. I mean, it's well taken care of. It's clean. It was really nice. I thought it was really cool.
Nancy got me talking with my hands again. So
yeah. She said it was like herding cats in this place. You can see we found some comics to dig through. And there wasn't a whole lot of toys there, but there were some, and some of them were a little happy about their toys. Mm-hmm. I don't think they were really wanting to sell them as much as they was wanting to keep them, to be honest with you. And there's me goofing around with old Marshall.
That's a nice picture.
If y'all don't know, this is Marshall. This is John and Nancy's boy.
He's a shot for that kid.
He's a really good kid, well-mannered. My mom spoke highly of him. She went with us yesterday. My mother and my father went with us yesterday. And they both spoke really highly of John and Dave and Nancy and Marshall and Miss Flo. Miss Flo is amazing. Also.
Well, I mean, if you set the bar, that really ain't a compliment.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right.
You let her have a week with him and then see how she feels about it.
Yeah, she'd be like,
I can guarantee you 100% my mother would take him.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
I guarantee that. But yeah, we had a good time. I mean, I enjoyed getting together. It was just this kind of all of a sudden thing, really.
Yep, real impromptu. Yeah. I
was taking my mother and my wife out for Mother's Day and stuff, and my wife had wanted to go eat at Dex and Docks, so we said we'll swing through Leeds and then just head on up to Dex and Docks and eat and then head home. And about 10:30, 11 o'clock last night, we got home. So there was way too many Walmarts in between here and there, and Targets and Hobby Lobbies and Harbor Freights. We had a good time. I do believe we did.
Very cool. Very cool.
Just something I wanted to share with the group. This is some things we kind of do a lot. You know, any of you guys ever want to just hook up, meet up, and hang out? We're all for that. You know, that's
Absolutely.
to me. That's what we're supposed to do. We're a community. We're supposed to get together and share our love for what we do together. And you know, it's not just us three, which is most time what happens. But
but if you guys have got pictures, send them in. I mean, you know, just so happens we're the ones that have, you know, access to posting the pictures. But if you guys got pictures of meetups, send them.
Oh yeah.
Shane will take pictures of me and him go out because they could be considered crime evidence for crimes.
And you know, you've got to stay on your feet to get a picture taken. Tripping over a curb is not a good picture.
Well, you pushed me from the front.
I'll push you from the front.
When I seen you was in front of me.
Yeah. I pushed him from the front.
Pushed him from the front and he tripped over a curb.
Yeah.
That's not a very likely story.
You know, if you would have tripped off of the curb into the roadway, I would have believed that. But over the curb onto the sidewalk with me pushing
that was still a good day. I found Sting and you found that junkyard or mud for $1 and something.
I don't know what we found because I was too busy worrying about you getting off the ground. It was funny though. Of course, it says, I don't think I can get up, man. I said, heck, you are. You get up. And we got him up.
Yeah.
Bad having bad knees and bad backs and stuff.
Shane's the only person I know can go to a thrift store and find a gem and a pile of crap.
They don't call me the Indiana Jones of toy hunting for nothing.
That's right. That's right.
I think they need to call you the horseshoe of toy hunting.
I mean, I do find a lot of stuff for folks.
Nice. J-Dog 911. Who dat? Somebody that works a lot. I hear you, buddy.
Last week I worked senior.
I hear you, man.
Yep.
Trying to keep up with the classified figures, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He's saving up for the HasLab.
Yeah.
Classified, HasLab, Marvel, McFarlane.
The Todd Fowler. Nice. Oh, it's Jared.
What's up, Jared?
You don't have to give away your name if you don't want to, guys.
No.
It's just more convenience than anything. We'll learn them as time goes on.
I seen y'all's friend, Shane's friend, Bobby Vallow and Valloverse put a new video out. He's fixing to take his stuff to retail, and he's wanting Target and Walmart to move it to the collector section.
I mean, that's where it should be.
I mean, he was at a Target and Walmart, and they was videotaping him like with his cell phone.
Oh yeah, we're getting some of them deals at Walmart.
I haven't seen Squad here.
Him walking right by them.
Yeah, the $2 Lady J's. Oh, I missed out on those 18 months ago.
Always still got them for like $12.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody posted the other day. One of the Walmarts had them at $2. I don't know if that's what they are around here. I think they finally dried up around here.
Around here, Haleville, around me here.
Yeah.
I got a shipwreck the other day for $5.
I tell you what, the Metalhead and Mutton Junkyard all of a sudden are the peg warmers big time around here.
Two more shipments of them, and now they're just sitting there.
Just sitting.
Yeah. Crazy.
I know Target in Florida's only got one mutt, and that's it. Mutt and Junkyard. That's all they got as far as G.I. Joe stuff.
I know where there's at least 5 of them right now, and they ain't moving. So, and again, that Metalhead is stuck in limbo too.
Mm-hmm.
So not good. I think
it's pretty rough right now on them.
It's pretty rough. That's a fact. It's just very rough right now.
If you look, pretty much all the Cropmaster, Scrap Iron, all the deluxe, the $45 figures, people just don't want to give that much money for one. I mean, bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Unless you're really into collecting like we are. I mean, most people's not going to give that.
No, they're not.
Now, when they hit $17, they were gone like the wind.
Yep.
Oh, sure. Yes.
I think I got me and you one each for $12. An extra one.
What was that, Crocmaster?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then I got you that scrap arm for $17.
$17, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm the last handful of McFarlane pre-orders have disappeared. Those suckers have evaporated in seconds when they've gone up, literally on all vendors, including this past Friday with the Bane Batman 2-pack and that new Robin. Both of those disappeared in minutes from the McFarlane store, ET, Big Bad, Amazon, all gone, disappeared, evaporated.
You check GameStop?
I didn't look at GameStop. My experience with GameStop is GameStop will leave up pre-orders whether they can get them or not, and they'll just cancel them later. So I don't really ever pre-order from GameStop.
I've never pre-ordered from GameStop. I've ordered. I've never had any issues with that.
No, when stuff's in stock, I've ordered from GameStop when it's in stock, but I've never done a pre-order because I've seen the posts where everybody complains that they took the orders and then they never deliver.
Right.
Because they always claim it's still open pre-order and it's not. So, but hey, can you let's do this real quick. Can you pull up those two dino pictures I sent you, Shane? Let's do this real quick before we get any deeper, because this will give you an idea of the state of things. See this right here? These are new Hammond collection dinos that came out. Well, it'd be 2 weeks Wednesday, came out for pre-order. Pre-orders have sold out. You notice that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Coming June 2nd. It's on sale right now.
20% off.
You can't get them.
Is that Target, Dave?
Yes. You cannot
They
get
done
them.
They done the same thing with the Marvel Warbird too.
The computer is screwed up, and here's the second one. Again, another 20% off. Coming June 2nd, pre-orders are sold out. So now the guys that actually pre-ordered are going, do we get a credit? And apparently the answer from Target is no, you don't.
So is this a 20% off toys all the way around, or
just these items?
Okay.
These two items that are sold out on pre-order that you cannot put your hands on are on sale for 20% off.
Yeah, they done the same thing to the Marvel Warbird. It was regular $24.99. She went up on pre-order for $19.99.
No, that's not the pre-order price, Corey. People have
pre-ordered. Oh no, the pre-order price for Warbird was $24.99.
Well, this one's $50, and they knocked 20% off of it, and they're not crediting anybody, and you can't buy the figure because it's not even released yet.
No, that's why Warbird is. She ain't released it.
This is ridiculous because I can tell you right now, you ain't going to have any more pre-orders on this stuff if they're going to pull this stuff.
Well, what everybody needs to do is just cancel all their pre-orders and then turn around and reorder it.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Well, if they're sold out, there's not going to be a button on there to pre-order.
All right.
But when they cancel their, if a bunch of people canceled their pre-orders, then they would come back up for pre-order.
Right. Yeah, but everybody would have to do it. This is so. What ends up happening is no one's going to pre-order again. This just happened today because you guys know Target sales starts on Sunday. So everybody was made aware of this today, that everything that they literally just pre-ordered a week and a half ago is now on sale. And people were contacting Target saying, do I get a credit? And the answer to that was no. Which is, well, to be blunt, that's pretty crappy on Target's part.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
They put something on sale that you can't even buy, and it's all been pre-ordered, and you don't get a credit. There used to be, I don't know about you guys, that there used to be in Maine, there was a law on the books for years and years and years that if an item went on sale 14 days after you bought it, you could go back in with your receipt and they had to give you the sale price. Because they knew 2 weeks in advance, back in the day, they knew 2 weeks in advance what was going to go on sale. So you used to have clerks that would tell people, hold off on this, don't buy this yet. It's going to be on sale in a week or 2 weeks, because you used to be able to go back in with your receipt and say, hey, I paid full price for this 13 days ago. they had to give you the difference. Apparently that doesn't work anymore. Well, I wanted to show that to you guys to show you how ridiculous some of this stuff is getting.
That's crazy.
20% is a lot of money when you start talking about a $40 and a $50 toy.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. And like I said, you can't put your hands on them for that price.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's ridiculous is what it is. So anyways, let's refocus. But this is kind of where the pre-order game is going. So here we go. Oh, John's picture. You want to do that now, John?
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Thanks for the memories.
So going back a little retro, fill people in. A lot of people might not, I'm in some other G.I. Joe groups, and I see a lot of people are surprised by figures that pop up that were convention figures that they didn't know existed. So I thought it might be good to start, looking at some of these convention figures. And the reason I started out with this one, number one, this was the 2007 convention set. That was the first con I got to go to. It was in Atlanta, Georgia that year. They started doing these 15-figure box sets back in 2002 with the Crimson Strike team that had the Baroness, Tomax and Emmeett, and it come with 12 Crimson Vipers. But so this was a 2007. This was during the 25th anniversary of the Real American Hero. And so this is what the inside of the box looks. You get and you notice in the center there's a little pin for that convention. It shows, and you can't really see it, but if you zoom in, it should have Atlanta, Georgia on it somewhere.
2007.
Yeah,
Atlanta, Georgia. Yep.
Yeah, you said it's kind of covered up there. I got these pictures off yojo.com where I could get them off and send them to Shane because it's kind of short notice. So it's really a cool set. This one actually had 7 Joes and what you got there, 8 Cobras. It was split with and so
it was 8 Joes and 7 Cobras.
No, just 7 Joes.
No. Oh yeah, this purple guy is a Cobra.
That's Lieutenant Claymore. He's the leader. Of the
Okay.
So this is kind of the rundown. So this is the first and only Sparks figure that they've done. So if you remember, Shooter was in the G.I. Joe #1. It had the little computer screen. It showed Shooter, but you couldn't see their face.
Yeah.
And so they made the Shooter the female sniper, which they just put out and classified here, a few months ago. And so on the cartoon, it was Sparks that had like a little cameo thing from back in one of the earlier cartoons. And so this is the first and only Sparks figure that they did. I was kind of hoping they would have put him out in the 25th anniversary style, but they never did. So he was one of the figures in the set. And if you want going through the so you got a new Grunt figure, infantry squad leader. That's the 10th version of Grunt there, by the way. As you can see, it's got Yojo keeps up with a. So Sergeant Flash, it's got version 1. That's because they put that's when they started putting Sergeant in front of it. But so we got a new Flash with kind of a new padding. I think that was Barricade's original mold. From like 1999, or 1990 or 91, you had the character Barricade. So they used kind of Barricade's mold to make Flash with a padding. All right, going to the okay. So here's Doc. Here's the first iteration of the female Doc, which was billed as the original Doc's niece, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember her name. I keep thinking Greer, and I want to say Pam Greer, but I think that's an actress, a B-movie actress from them old crazy horror B-movies. So they did redo her in the 25th anniversary too. So okay, and then you got Zap. So
Raphael.
Updated Zap, Rafael Melendez. So another old school Joe. This was kind of like the old school Joes, except for Doc. And So then you got clutch, and you can't see, but on the back of the figure, it's got the logo for the mechanic shop that he worked in, the garage.
Oh yeah,
and I done forgot the name of it.
Asbury Park. Yeah,
we've talked about it several times, but I can't never remember the name of that garage. But yeah, on the back of his vest there, he's got it's like the logo for the garage that he worked in. And then so the bad guys was the Cobra officer. This was the Night Stalkers commander. So these were called Night Stalkers. They were female Cobra troopers, and I suspect we'll probably get these in classified, especially since they done the
Valkyries.
The Valkyries.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is paint them black, and basically you got it. Lieutenant Claymore, he was the Shock Viper commander. That's who he was. So he's got the body from a Shock Viper. That was a new head sculpt put on him. It's weird. It's weird because there were no Shock Vipers included in this other than him. But and then you had rock and roll. Okay, yeah, they didn't get these in order, did it? So,
no, sometimes it does that. Sorry about that.
So there's rock and roll. He was another one of the Joes included in it. Like I said, a lot of old school Joes in there.
Stardust.
All right, so then they had so this is really skipping around. I don't know what's going on with it. So Starduster, go to the next one, Shane. So there's one. That's the Cobra officer. Didn't we just see that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one.
All right. So here's just the trooper, which they have a red insignia and red highlights instead of silver. And they did 3 different ones. They had that's the blonde-headed one, the red-headed, and I think the other one was brunette or black. I can't remember. Black hair, brunette hair, I think. Okay. And so they were 2 of each of these for a total of 6. So you had 2 blondes, 2 redheads, and 2 brunettes.
Did they all have ponytails? It looked like the blonde one had a ponytail.
They did. They had ponytails in the back. Yeah, this okay. So you got Steeler. See what's next there. So Steeler. So we saw Stardust and Steeler. So they weren't part of the 15-pack set. Steeler and the Rip It were supposed to come with. They took the Mauler and they were going to redo the Mauler, one in Cobra Blue and one in Army Green.
Really?
And they did not have them for the show. We you got to go ahead and order them, but they did not make it to the show because they had one of the parts to the mold broke. And they had to try to repair it. And so what happened was, after we bought them, about 2 or 3 months after the show, they come back and sent out a letter with a refund telling everybody that another piece to the mold broke, and it was going to be too expensive to fix it, so they had to scrap it.
Oh, no kidding.
So they refunded everybody the money, and I hate that because I would have loved to have those tanks. Those would have been awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
So here's Starduster. Starduster and Grand Slam came with jetpacks and the blast effects. There's the Rip It that was supposed to come with a Cobra tank. And see, that was the whole thing, tanks for the memory, so it was supposed to have been about the tanks, right? So, you know, but that was the one thing I didn't get. So this is Grand Slam. Grand Slam and Starduster both come with and I think there's a picture of him in that with a thing. This was so when you attended, this was the freebie that they give out. It was a Vamp Mark V.
Not much of one, was it?
Yeah, it was stripped down. It was, like I said, it was a giveaway. It was for attending the show. If you bought the 15 figure set and you attended the show, you got that as an entry when you went in the entry. And I have one. I got it put up out there in my man cave.
What is these boxes on the front of it?
They're crates, and I think if I remember right, inside the crates there's like these little spike things. It's like I think they're supposed to like toss them out because no, wait a minute. I'm thinking about the 2000 one that had barrels on the back with the spikes in it.
Oh, okay.
These were just crates where you could put accessories in these. It had the crates and it had the one gun you can see there, and it had a second gun, but the gun didn't stick on it anywhere. But anyway,
combat.
Yeah. All right, so go see what's next. See if we got the rest of the other. Those should be okay.
Hang on. What are you looking for?
Hey, hang on a second.
I think we covered it.
Go to that. Shane, go to that one that's got the Starduster. I don't know if you guys will catch this or not. You see
Oh.
those flame effects right there?
Yeah.
Those look exactly like the unleashed flame effects from the Boba Fett that Hasbro used. It would be just small, but those would look exactly like it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they
They did
downsized the mold.
They did a Jango Fett. No, the what was it, 20? I think it was a 200th figure.
Yes.
Was Boba Fett, and he come
Yep.
with, I think he come with a flame effects just
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure it's the same mold that they
It's got to
used.
be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say a Roddy Piper G.I. Joe?
No.
No, you didn't.
You did. that was the last
thing we were killed.
So
There it
they did this for the 25th anniversary. Iron Grenadier, he's an Iron Grenadier trainer, and Roddy Piper was actually there.
Mhm.
You can go ahead and show the back the back of it right quick. I sent these pictures just so you could have a good view of it. And it gives, and I'm gonna read the file card here in a minute. Is there any other pictures, Shane?
That's it.
All right. You can go back to me now if you want to, and I'll show the. All right. So yeah, so they did this, and they limited them five to a person, and this thing, and he autographed them. So I got him to autograph mine, and he was a super great guy. I mean, he was he's supposed to be there at Friday night. He didn't make it in until Saturday morning. Looked like he just got off the plane. He was half asleep. I got 5 of these. They limited these 5 per attendee. And I got one for a friend of mine. I got one for my brother. And then I got one I was going to open and one I was going to keep selling on the pack. And then I just got an extra one. I ended up selling both of those. I never did open one because they later on, those things, I mean, just like within a couple of months after the show, I got like $350 a piece for them. So they paid for my show. They paid for what I spent at the show.
Yeah.
Because that was
They ain't
back
no telling what that
2007.
thing's worth right now.
Oh, right now it's probably about $1,200-$1,300.
I'm talking about the one you got in your hand.
What about it?
He won't autograph another one.
No, he won't. No. Yeah. So, but so here's what so he was the Iron Grenadier trainer, and this is what it says on the back of it. Well, up at the top it says Roddy Piper. For 25 years, the G.I. Joe team has gone into battle with Sergeant Slaughter at their side to pummel Cobra forces into full retreat. Now Cobra is fighting back with a wrestling legend who can combat the Sergeant with equal strength and skill. Roddy Piper. Cobra has added this infamous fighter to its ranks to even the score on the battlefield and take the battle to a whole new level. Wearing the classic wrestling gear, Roddy Piper is ready to let loose his infamous rage and pile drive his G.I. Joe nemesis. So his file card, this is what it said up here. So his file card says this. It's got Iron Grenadier Trainer, codename Roddy Piper. Primary military specialty, combat training instructor. Secondary military specialist, special services with bagpipe player in parentheses. So, birthplace, Glasgow, Scotland. Roddy Piper spent his formative years in the Royal Regiment of the Scottish Army. He earned the nickname Rowdy by clashing with the senior instructors and pummeling his teammates during combat exercises. This aggressive attitude allowed him to excel in the discipline of close proximity fighting. He became an expert with explosives, small arms, and hand-to-hand combat at a higher tactical level than most soldiers. This natural talent helped him win top honors from the infantry unit and a position as senior drill instructor. It was later revealed that his birthright was part of the Destro clan. Following his heritage, he became a mercenary and took charge of the Iron Grenadier training program at Castle McCullough. As an offensive tactician, he only selects the best of the best for Iron Grenadier guards, Iron Anvil paratroopers, and undertow divers. His training methods specialize in close quarter battle tactics, and hybrid martial arts, which incorporate techniques from several different fighting styles, as well as submissive techniques to secure compliance from the enemy. He proudly wears his distinctive kilt uniform during all Iron Grenadier exercises and plays his bagpipes before going into battle. And his quote is, "Sooner or later, everybody pays the piper." So the reason I brought all this up, like I said, I was trying to think of stuff, to kind of go back and try to give people some knowledge that maybe they didn't have. A lot of people weren't aware. I take it, obviously, Corey learned that there was a Roddy Piper G.I. Joe figure.
And I just did.
This, it's not the 25th, even though it's got the logo for the 25th anniversary, because this is when the 25th anniversary style figures come out, was right around the first wave was coming out around the time of the convention. But he actually uses a mold of one of the 2000, early 2000, like the Joe versus Cobra and the Valor versus Venom type figures. So he is an O-ring figure, but he's with the new sculpting. Okay. And, I really would have loved it if he'd been in the 25th style, but
yeah.
All he come with was this helmet. But you notice he's wearing a black, a kilt with a black shirt. It's got an Iron Grenadier logo on it. I don't know if you really see it there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of dark. What brought this on was because I was at Walmart and I found this with the kilt and the black jacket and 2 black shirts. So I'm thinking if I could get an Iron Grenadier logo and just flip that shirt around and put on it, there's my Iron Grenadier trainer for my classified scale figure.
That'd be cool, right?
So,
John, great minds think alike.
So that's the only. When I saw that, I told Nancy, I said, I know I wasn't going to buy nothing else today because I've got a couple of vintage Star Wars figures at the flea mall. But when I saw that, I said, I got to get that because that's my Iron Grenadier trainer right there.
That'd be cool.
And so I hadn't even had a chance to open him yet, but that's where this was inspired from. That's why I picked that figure up. And I've seen a couple of them yesterday. I saw it at 2 different stores. I saw this. This one I picked up at the Gadsden Walmart. They had 2 there, and the other one I saw at I can't remember where now, Walmart or Target. Where else did I go yesterday? Anyway,
I saw 4 of them at the Fort Payne Walmart.
Yeah. Okay.
I seen 5 of them at Muscle Shoals Walmart.
But yeah, I mean this because I'd had a Roddy Piper that Mattel done on a single carded figure, but he had a white shirt on that said Roddy Piper, on it and all that I put with my Cobras. But this one's going to take its place because this looks like this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah,
other than the shirt not having Iron Grenadier, I could just have him just a plain black shirt, not have to have anything on it. But that was my point for getting that, and that come out, like I said, that was a 2007 con figure that they only had at the Atlanta show, the Joe Con, and so that's what I got to thinking about, and I thought, well, why don't we just look at all the figures from that con, and I actually plan on providing nothing happens, and Rob is on the show next week. Rob and I met 10 years ago. We've known each other 10 years now. We met 10 years ago at the 50th anniversary convention, which was in Dallas, Texas. And so if it all works out and he's on next week, we'll take a look at the convention figures from that convention because it's only fitting, right? And that was the second Joe Con that I got to go to, as a matter of fact.
Very cool.
Maybe we can look at some more of these convention things. Like I said, a lot of people I've seen a lot of people in other groups I'm in, they'll come across one of these convention figures and they're like, what is this figure? Where did it come from? And a lot of people didn't get to go to the conventions. I didn't even know they were doing conventions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there he is out of the pack.
Yeah. So
cool.
That's definitely. I'm glad they done that because that's perfect. Because I seriously doubt, especially since Mattel has the rights to his likeness and all, I doubt we'll see another Roddy Piper for G.I. Joe. So we have to make our own. Of course, a lot of people said the same thing about Sergeant Slaughter, and look what happened. We got a Sergeant Slaughter, so who knows?
Yeah.
But since it wasn't widely known like Sergeant Slaughter, I kind of figured it's probably very doubtful that it'll happen. So this is my solution. So anybody else that wants to have a complete Cobra Iron Grenadier team, you got to get you one of these for it to be complete.
I'm a Roddy Piper fan, and I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was, like I said, he was. Yeah, what I was telling you, I got 5 of them, and when we lined up there, they said, "Look, we got to, we got to get people through here. 2 autographs per person. That's it." And I got up there and I had all 5 figures, and he autographed all 5 of them. He didn't care. He said, "Out here, so let me autograph all of them." And he put, I mean, he even personalized them. You can see that says to Jonathan on there. And he put 2 Brian for my brother. I got one for my brother, and I got one for another friend of mine. He personalized all 3 of those, and the other 2, he said, "What do you want?" I said, "It don't matter." I said, and he just signed them, the other 2, and but yeah, he was like I said, I don't know. I just met him at one time, but he was a really super nice guy. I wished I could find. I got some pictures with him too. I don't know what happened to him. I was on my old flip phones. You remember those? Back in 2007. So it's. I don't know if I got them saved anywhere or not. I wished I could find them, but it was cool. He's actually the first big time pro wrestler that I've ever met. Actually, he's him and Sergeant Slaughter is really the only 2 I have ever met. So. Sure.
I met him in '96 in Atlanta at a Nitro.
Yeah. Did you get to talk to him much, or is it just?
Yeah, I mean, he was great. He was outside. There was people lined up 4 hours outside. He was out there pretty much the entire time talking to people.
Yeah, it's good to see. Celebrities that actually get out there and talk to the fans, because the fans are why they're famous. I mean, really.
That's right. Yep,
and right. And a lot of them recognize. I know Sergeant Slaughter does. He definitely. I mean, he'll sit there and talk your ears off. He don't mind talking to you. And I like that. And I know sometimes they probably get constantly get hammered with people when they go out in public places. And I get, somebody said, "Well, they were awful rude." Well, I don't write them off just for that one incident, because they might have been tired, having a bad day. People have bad days. But you got some of them that they just constantly say that they just rude, don't want to talk to people or nothing. Them I don't understand, because that's your fan base is what keeps you in a job.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I thought he was great, and it's kind of sad when he passed away, because that's it's another wrestling legend that, like I said, you won't get to meet, or talk to and be around anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine he had some good stories.
Yeah. Did he charge you anything for an autograph?
No. It was
he wasn't down there either. He was just signing random stuff for people. He wasn't charging nothing for his autograph.
I'm sure they paid for him to be there, and all just probably about like Larry Hamill when he came, and he didn't charge anything. They set up a table there and let you go through the line and get your stuff signed, and like I said, it was no charge or anything to it. So
cool.
And
very cool.
But yeah, it was for my first actual Joe Con. It was a very good experience. What for Nancy? She was in a hotel room sick. She got sick when we were up there, and she stayed in the room the whole time sick. And I keep bringing in boxes and stuff. She's like, "What are you?" Yeah, I walked in with that's when I got that. I've actually got a Rolling Thunder, mint condition, complete. Guy had 2 of them. One of them had the little handle on the inside. The cockpit was broke off, and the other one was complete. And so I grabbed the one that was complete. And right after I picked it up, another guy walked up there and said, "Oh man, a Rolling Thunder." So if I'd been a second or 2 later, I would have had to got the one with the broken handle. Yeah. But I got the complete one. I asked that guy, I said, "How much?" He said $50. And I had a Night Force Psych Out complete, and I traded him that Night Force Psych Out for that Rolling Thunder. Now the Night Force Psych Out is probably 3 times more than what the Rolling Thunder.
Oh yeah, easily, yeah, easily.
But hey, I got because the Rolling Thunder was one of them I wanted when I was a kid, and I was starting to get out of G.I. Joe, and I remember that year I was like, I want that Rolling Thunder, and my folks got me a Nintendo. That's when Nintendo really hit, And I was excited because of the Nintendo, because now I could play Mario instead of, because I remember Walmart over in Jacksonville, we'd go over and they have that in the lobby, you could play Super Mario Brothers on it. And I'm like, man, I wished I had a Nintendo where I could play this at home. So I was excited about getting a Nintendo, but then on the other hand, I was disappointed because I didn't get a Rolling Thunder. And I was like, man, I really wanted that Rolling Thunder. And then then by the next year, I was just, by that time I was in high school and I was just kind of out of G.I. Joe because it started getting, and so when I saw that and I said, oh, and he said $50, I said, I'll take it. And then I had that night, I had that night for psyche out, and I said, would you trade? And he said, oh yeah, I'll trade, because he was going for around $50 at the time too.
Sure.
So. And it was a good trade, but he had a box that a vacuum cleaner come in. That's what he had for me to put it in. He just had some. And so I'll go walking in the room, and she's half drugged up over her, and she looks over and she's, did you buy a vacuum cleaner? I was like, no. She said, every time I bring something in the room. I don't even remember what all I bought at that show. I just remember the Rolling Thunder and getting the convention set. No,
nice.
But yeah, for anybody that don't know, so the 15 figure sets, they started in 2002, and they done them all the way up until the last show, which was in Chattanooga in 2018. And so every year they done a 15 figure box set, and when you got to the show, if you bought the admission with the box and you got the box set, when you got there, then you registered, you had the option also to buy a bag set where they were loose in bags, and so that way you'd have one boxed and one loose to display, and which that one I didn't get a bag set. I just got the because it was because at the time they were always like right around $300, $325, something like that. And at that time, I just barely made it to the show. I was scraping money to try to get it. It's so close, Atlanta. I said I got to go. It's that close. It's never been that close. And so I scraped up enough money to get it and have a little more money to spend on stuff. And I'm like, well, I got one set of the figures. That's all I need. So I'd rather save the money and spend it at the show. So I didn't get the bag set, but
cool.
You can always get the bag set, and they always give out one freebie at the door entrance for the attendees, because you could do a home front heroes, what it called. So you could get the 15 figure set and not attend. They would after like a month or two after the show, then they would mail it to you. But like to get the other stuff, like to buy the Steeler and Rip It with the 2 tanks, which unfortunately we never got the tanks, but they did have they had the figures there, they just didn't have the tanks. And like the Starduster and the Grand Slam with the jetpacks, you had to attend to be able to get to buy those because they only had them for sale at the show. So if you stayed at home, the only thing you could get is a 15 figure box set. But if you attended, like I said, for the attendees, they got a free vehicle, which usually something small. In this case, it was that Vamp. They actually, I think in the 2002 was actually a Crimson Hiss tank, and they took one year they done the one of the submarines off the Hammerhead, and they done it as just a single vehicle by itself, and it was they were usually something small that was maybe a $10-15 vehicle or something. But it was, they were pretty cool. And toward the end, when they started doing the 25th anniversary styles, they tried their best before they lost the license, before they had to give the license up. It actually come down to, I think, the 2016 show. They announced that they'd lost, that Hasbro didn't renew the Transformers license, but they did renew G.I. Joe for 2 more years, so they got to do the show 2 more years. So in that 2 years, they tried to really pump out all the figures that they hadn't done in the 25th style. So you got some of like the Sonic, that last year you got some of the Sonic Fighters, like the Sonic Fighter Falcon, the Sonic Fighter Road Pig, and those weird colors and stuff. And they tried to get out as many as they could through the figure subscription service that they did and all that, because they knew the fans wanted it. They knew people wanted all the original figures in the 25th style. And so it was pretty cool. But
cool.
Like I said, a lot of people don't realize this stuff exists. So I thought maybe that might be something good we could share with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, if you wonder, yojo.com, you go over and you can see most of the exclusive stuff. I don't know why that last year, 2018, they've only got a couple of figures. They did not put the rest of the figures up on there. It's like whoever was keeping the site up just quit, and they never got the last several waves of figures on there. But you can still see most of them, like all the convention stuff and all that. You can see on there. They got international Joes and all on the website too. So it's a good website for reference, just to get on there and look at and see what was made. And I find stuff new. Not necessarily with GI Joe, because Lord, I've looked at that stuff so much. I've looked at GI Joe so much.
Yeah.
If I do see something new, it's not really new. I just forgot about it. It's by that time. But other toy lines, there's a lot of other toy lines that I see stuff and I'm like, man, I didn't know they ever made that. And you get to looking at it, so wow, that's pretty neat. I never knew they made that. And there was something the other day I saw, and I can't even remember what it was. Now I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I didn't know they made that. And now I guess I still don't know they made it because I can't remember what it was.
You can't prove it one way or the other, right?
Yeah. It was a vehicle for one of the 80s toy lines. I can't, for the life of me, I don't remember now what it was.
Don't know.
Oh, I think it was that Retro Toy Quest book. It had the A-Team stuff in it. I think it was something in it I saw that I didn't know they made. So that's what's good about like those books like that Retro Toy Quest book.
Yeah,
they got stuff, all that stuff. You get to look through there and say, "Wow, I didn't know they made that," or
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway.
Thanks for the memories.
I did. Of course, you guys saw. I mean, the two figures I got at the flea mall was Prune Face, which I see these vintage and it's in perfect condition. I mean, there's no paint wear on it whatsoever.
Yeah, that is a really
that's a good figure. Yeah,
and of course he's got his little cloak and his gun. And the other one, I remember, like I said, I specifically remember the loot, but what again, what's great, what most people see is paint wear on the noses of a lot of these figures, and this one has no paint wear on it whatsoever. And he did just have his cloak, and he did come with a blaster too. I don't remember the blaster, but I remember the lightsaber because the one I had the green lightsaber.
Yeah.
It was because the first ones they put out were blue, and then they goofed and they went around and changed it back. Because I remember Shane, you mentioned yesterday if it had the blue or green in it, or you asked me which one I had. I think, and I told you I had the one that had green because I remember
it come with a blue and a green lightsaber.
Yeah,
There's two different versions of it.
I remember the one.
Did it come with a blue blaster also, like a light blue blaster?
The pictures I saw when I was looking it up looked like it was kind of a light brown, but it could be. I mean, it's hard to tell in some pictures.
Yeah. I
do remember the one.
Solo.
I do remember the one I had was the correct green version.
Yeah.
And I don't know whatever happened to it. I remember having it. I remember getting it at the Walmart when it used to be in Glencoe, and I remember opening it up on the way home because we stopped by somebody's house to look at something that my dad was looking at, some trade thing. Used to you just get them in the the newspaper that have like a trade line or whatever.
Yeah,
people put ads in there for stuff for sale or whatever. It's like Marketplace, but only with a newspaper. And I remember was coming back, we stopped there, and while he was there talking to the guy about, I don't even remember what it was he was looking at buying from him or what the guy had for sale, but I remember ripping that thing open and getting that lightsaber out and all that. And but yeah, I mean, I was amazed that it didn't have no paint wear on it. It's just awesome. I just got to find his blaster and a lightsaber now, and he'll be complete. But I couldn't pass those up, and the prices were good. The prices were good on those.
They were.
We saw a bit like that Bib Fortuna complete mint condition for $16. And I started to get him, but then I don't know. I remember having Prune Face too, and I had because I was I was only 4 years old when Star Wars come out. I do remember having Hammerhead, and I think Greedo because when you're kids you like the monsters, you like the weird ones. And I remember getting a Chewbacca because I remember just as soon as I bought him, I lost his bowcaster right off the bat. And I remember Chewbacca, and I remember having a Yoda, but the majority of the ones I had were from Return of the Jedi because that was the first movie I actually saw. Because when I finally got old enough, and they had it at the movie theater over here in Center, and so I went in, and I'd never seen Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back. I went in and saw Return of the Jedi first. So I was kind of lost as what was going on, but it was still fun. And then like just a few months later, they ran Star Wars on TV, and and then later on, Empire Strikes Back. Of course, when I saw Empire Strikes Back, I fell in love with it because it was it was always my favorite. But
It's the best one of them all, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and just to throw it out there while I'm talking, I'm trying to find. I'd like to find sealed packs because I love, that's what I always love about trading cards, opening to see what you get. But if anybody runs across any of the old vintage Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi cards, especially for sealed packs and they're reasonably priced, let me know. Because I'd like to get a set, but I like getting them and opening them, be surprised.
The thrill.
The thrill of it. And gosh, I've seen some of those cards, especially the Star Wars from A New Hope. They done 5 series. There was a total of 330 cards in the set by the time they done it. And those that 4th and 5th series, a pack of them is like $30 and $40 if you find one.
The gum in them is a fossil now.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't chew the gum.
I wouldn't do it.
We're going to do it live.
I wouldn't try it either. To tell you the
That's
truth.
that was kind of what I thought.
If you guys find any of these for John, he will chew the gum live on the cat.
I'm not going to do that again.
I'll do it for views.
Nope.
I'll sit here and break it up with a hammer, because you probably need it.
Yeah, no, that'd be bad.
I do want to try to find some, but I may open them on the show just to show what I get out of it. But I don't know. I always when I was a kid, I had tons of trading cards because that was the excitement. And I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the animated series back then. I remember there was one card I can never get. I had the whole set except for one card. It was like the elusive Hiss Tank for Shane. It was like you can. I remember a friend of mine, he got it. And I think it was number 88 too. Seemed like I can still remember the number on it. I don't remember what was on the front of it, but I remember he got it. I tried my best to trade him out of it.
I got my dang Hiss Tank though. Thanks to Emmeett. I lost the one John gave me.
Jeez.
I still haven't found it, so I don't know where it's at.
That's funny.
But it's funny, Shane and I both, it seemed like this last week, discovered that there was another set of cards in 1987.
1987 trading cards. I didn't know that.
I was looking at them on eBay, and then when I was at the mall yesterday, Shane said, "You know they done another set in 87?" I said, "I just saw that." I said, "I just found that out."
Did not know at all.
Now, I don't know how many was in the set. I hadn't looked it up.
56, I think it was.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Man, I would love to complete that Milton Bradley set, but gosh, some of them
cards are expensive, man.
That Snake Eyes is going for like $50-$60.
Wow.
Some of them going for $100 or more too.
Yeah,
Wow.
or more. Yeah, depends on what condition it's in. Yeah. But
I did look up that Roddy Piper figure, and he's going for about $999, or about $1,000.
Yeah.
Autograph.
Autograph.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them they actually did. I can't remember. Seemed like they told at the show, but I don't remember. They had quite a few of them there, but I don't think there was. I think it was under maybe 1,500 or something like that. I don't know. A lot of those convention sets were limited, like 450 or 750, something like that.
Yeah, I knew
I
that.
think he might have been up around maybe 1,000 or 1,200. I can't remember. Like I said, they limited to 5 per person. They let you get 5 of them. I was surprised, And they weren't. I think they were like $5 because that's what the 25th style was going for. They were going for like $488 at Walmart right around that same time when they first come out. So I'm thinking it was like, because it seemed like I spent $25. I got 5 of them, so it must have been $5 a piece.
It is interesting you talk about the broken mold for the Mauler. I wonder if that's why there was never a 25th anniversary Mauler.
That's why. They said it was so expensive to recast that mold.
Yeah.
They had one that broke, and they were going to spend the money to recast it because they'd already got all
right.
They'd already had it planned for that. But when the second part broke, then they said that was it. They couldn't do it.
That was it.
So they refunded everybody's money. I hated that because, man, I was really looking forward to that, especially that blue Cobra tank. the Mauler in the Cobra Blue, and well, you saw the picture there. I mean, it looked awesome, and I really hated that, man. I really hated I didn't get to do those.
That it's funny because that discussion happened a number of years ago with the old Star Wars vehicles molds that at the time Kenner said that you guys do, they listened to it for a while and just said, you guys do realize that most of those molds are unusable. They have disintegrated over time. We have some because of some of them were literally worn out during production. And they were able to remake some of them for, classic stuff, but most of those molds, they weren't usable. They didn't even exist anymore, so.
And you noticed that they have released the Mobat even in the 25th style.
Yeah.
Because they had that big target set.
Yep.
They released the Mobat within the last 10, 12 years, a couple of different times, but you notice there's no hitch on the back of it. And I wonder if that mold broke and they had to remold that and they just left the hitch off.
Just voided it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me any.
But that's, if people wonder, well, gosh, they made this, they've redone this, why don't they redo this one? Well, that's probably why. They probably don't have the mold anymore. And like I said, they would transport those molds around.
Oh yeah.
The other what was the I can't even think of the name now. Fun School, and some of those, that done GI Joe figures. They would pass the molds around, let them cast theirs, and then sometimes they would get lost, or
My understanding is they were mostly die cast anyways, and they were very fragile.
Yeah.
The more hot plastic they exposed them to, the weaker they got. So a lot of them were literally disintegrated. So it's sad, but time goes on, right?
Yeah.
Oy.
Lost Alf.
Yeah, where he went. Indisposed. Shut his mic off. Shut his camera off.
Thanks for the memories.
I'll tell you, I still, and like I said, I know that the Star Wars, they were only 5 points of articulation, but I don't know what it is. I just love them though. I mean, it's just even the retros that they put out now that look like the vintage. Yeah. But just I guess it's just that nostalgia part of it.
Yeah, it's just nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of memories there.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of us, there's a lot of memories there.
Oh yeah.
We're still buying. We're still buying OG Joe stuff, even though they're brittle, and we're scared to death to do anything with them. But you put one in your hand, and you're buying the memories. I mean, the truth be told.
I remember that's what sold me on GI Joe when I got that Mobat and opened it up and saw Steeler and his arm.
Yeah.
Well, at the time they were straight arms. They didn't swivel until like '83, but you had that. They could sit down. You could bend your knees and all, and it's like, wow, this is really cool for putting them in vehicles and stuff,
Yep, for sure.
And then when the swivel arms come out, boy, he was high class then. And then what was it, '85 when they had the ball joint neck where you could move their necks up and down, their heads up and down too.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow was right. Pretty cool.
Anyway, hopefully somebody learned something new tonight on the convention stuff.
Well, I did.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
John, let's just be honest. You probably forgot more G.I. Joe stuff than I know.
Probably I have. I used to tell you all the. I mean, and I'll be honest. I'll still every now and then I'll see something. Well, like here recently, those apparently those J.C. Penney Cobra officers and troopers that had the Mickey Mouse logo that was very extremely rare.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen those before, never heard of them. I think a lot of people hadn't until those surfaced. But every once in a while, you'll still see something that you never seen before. But it's amazing at all the variations. I mean, some of them like Rakondo, like the original Rakondo. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different shades of it goes from green to brown on the camo pattern, and there's shades in between.
And even the pattern itself is some are different.
Yeah, And good Lord, Star Wars, the vintage Star Wars.
Oh, just the variations.
If you tried to collect every single variation, because you'd have just slightly different color, light brown or brown, but depending on what factory it was made at.
Yeah.
If it was Hong Kong or China,
Yeah, where they got their paint. The paint supplier was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was that simple. I mean, collectors have made a big deal out of a whole lot of nothing, really. But I mean, but that's what it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Paint variations.
I would say probably every single vintage Star Wars figure has a variant of, and it's at least one variant, and it's usually of just a different shade of the paint.
Right. And it goes beyond big head hand, little head hand.
Mm-hmm.
The Jawas, was it vinyl or was it cloth?
Yeah.
Ponda Baba, tall or short, right? Was it the mail away or was it the carded? Those are easy. Those are no brainers, right? I mean, but John's right. The variations on the hair color of brown or brown haired Luke, blonde Luke, right? There's another one.
Yoda's snake, brown or orange snake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Obi-Wan had gray beard or white beard,
white hair,
gray or white.
Yeah, right. And those weren't running changes. Those were just variations in paint suppliers.
Yep.
There wasn't anything intentional about it. But people glom on to whatever they can to make a buck. I hate to say that, but it's or be special because they want something unique. Not everybody's in it for the money, but sometimes it's just I have something you don't.
I'm telling you, the vinyl Cape Jawa, I would be scared to death. If I did have the money to buy one, I'd be scared to buy one because there's so many people done reproductions of that cape that you don't know if you're getting an original one or not.
No. And I remember them. I mean, I remember the change.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I had a vinyl cape. And I remember that sucker would tear if you weren't real careful because it was so short that it was rigid. And it did kind of wrap around the legs a little bit. So if you pop the Jawa's legs up, and that cape was just hanging out there, and it was fragile back then. It would tear. So
the variation of
Pilot Luke. Yep. What's that one?
I had a X-wing Pilot Luke that had the orange arms, upper body, and brown legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yep,
sure did.
And now it's even harder because I've seen some people say, "Hey, is this a variation?" And it turned out it's just where the over time it's kind of discolored.
Discolored,
right? So now you got new variations.
Yeah,
I've noticed like with most of your collector's cases back then, the vinyl collector cases, they had red inserts where you put the figures in, and the white stormtroopers and stuff like that would suck in that red, and dye them a little red.
Yeah,
like
what was
the we saw yesterday? He was a little red from it.
Yep, had them his arms were kind of pinkish looking. Yep. Yeah.
What was the one? What was the one with the green arms? Remember, there was a variant with green arms, a different shade of green, and it just so happens that as they've aged, you can't tell the difference between the green discoloration and the original green color. That made them a variant because now technically they're all variants because they've all aged green. What was that?
Greedo had green arms. I can't remember any other ones that had green arms on them.
I can't remember what it was now.
But it seemed like I do remember Greedo. Well, like I said, every one of them's got some kind of variation. Every one of them.
They're just running changes. Yeah, the green Chewbacca, some of the Chewie. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yes. Yeah, because some of them did have green arms right from the factory.
Yep.
That's
on the Power of the Force that come out in '95, there was wasn't there like a greenish tint C-3PO, if I remember right? But wasn't it on the Japanese card or something like that?
Oh yes, that was some kind of weird. That was some kind of weird. What's the word I'm looking for? Not oxidation. Copper does it. What the heck?
Yeah.
Not tarnish, but it turns green.
Yeah.
There was something in the vac metal that turned it green. I do know what you're talking about, John.
Yeah.
It was a flaw in materials. It wasn't. Oh shoot! What the heck? I can't even think of the word.
Oxidized?
No, it's not oxidized. What the heck is that?
Only I know it was oxidized or tarnished.
The green, the shoot.
Like copper turns green, and
copper turns green. what the heck does this? Like I need to remember because it's got nothing to do with nothing. Now it's gonna bug the crap out of me because well.
It'll hit you about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's the truth, and I won't care then either. So it'll bug me until then, though. What the heck?
Yep.
Anyways, let's see. What do you think? You want to do this? You want to do this top 100?
Sure.
This might spark some conversation, or an auto, to be perfectly honest with you. I stole this. This was compiled by histank.com, or I guess they call themselves the Tank now. I don't know. I don't want to take any credit. I did not do this. This was actually voted on by a bunch of fans, but I thought it would be interesting to say so. And I think somebody had said that this was his Tank, and possibly they call themselves the Tank now. But we'll probably get through the first 50, and maybe we'll revisit it again some point in time for the second 50. Let's do this. Up. If you think it needs to move up the list, up. If you think it needs to move down the list, say down. And if you think it's right where it should be, just say stay. How's that? Up, down, or stay? What do you think?
Okay, that worked. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first. Wow.
Really?
I think the first one is about the only one that we can't say up on. But let's see. Scroll. Can you scroll? Oh, that's the second list, Shane.
Yeah, this is we're going with it, or you want to go with the number one first?
Let's go with the number one first.
You're going to count it down instead of
no, can we do that though? Because does it make sense? What do you guys want to do? First list or second list? Countdown? Or?
We can start with number one. Be fine.
You could definitely tell that this list was more comic book guys than cartoon guys, right? Because there's no way if this was all cartoon guys or a majority of them, Snake Eyes would not be at number one.
I'm a cartoon guy. I would have to have Snake Eyes at number one.
Would you really? I mean, I would have put Cobra Commander or Duke before Snake Eyes.
I'd have Duke and Cobra Commander moved up the list, but I always like Snake Eyes better than any of them.
Yeah, I think as a cartoon guy myself, I'd have had Snake Eyes number one too.
Would you really? I would have guessed that cartoon guys would have had him further down the line than number one.
I think I would have been one with him. He would have been the first one to come to mind.
So you guys are stay?
I think a lot of the cartoon guys, though, you got to remember one of the first cartoons was where he was in the Arctic and got radiation.
It's true.
A lot of
he was cool from episode one. I mean, he really was.
A lot of people remember that Snake Eyes and not the Boy George Snake Eyes.
Yeah, well,
I think he was doing okay until that episode with the Boy George up in Snake Eyes, and that's when it dropped down on the list.
Boy George was popular in the 80s. So.
Yeah,
if they'd done that in Classified or Super 7, I would still have to get it just because.
People would buy it. So what do you think? Up, down, or stay? Of course, you can't go up.
I say stay.
Stay?
Yeah.
Stay. I'm a comic guy, so I would say stay. But number 2, Storm Shadow. What do you think?
I'd say stay because everybody, especially back in the 80s, ninjas was a thing there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
I'm gonna say down.
What do you think, Shane?
I would keep him at 2.
Would you keep him at 2? I have to be honest with you. I would move him down. I'd move him down with either Duke or I would move him down with Cobra Commander. One or the other.
I was thinking Cobra Commander.
Storm Shadow would easily be in my top 5, but I would actually move him down. I really would. But I don't know. Interesting, huh? Interesting. Number 3, Coco. What do you think? Up, down, stay. What do you think, Shane?
Up.
No.
Keep it? I think top 3 is great for me.
Yeah. Makes sense. Did you say up, Corey?
Yep.
You'd swap him out with Storm Shadow?
Yep.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'd probably swap him out with Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me because my list would be Steeler and then Baroness and then Cobra Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Because Steeler and Baroness are my 2 favorite, but Cobra Commander is like, as far as bad guys go, he's my favorite bad guy, really. I mean, really, as a bad guy, is like a leader of a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And because in the comic, he was pretty mean. You know, he was pretty bad guyish, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
He wasn't. You know, he was comic relief in the cartoon, but
right. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
but he's definitely in my top 3. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, it's just a question of who you do juggle.
Yeah. Me personally, I'd probably have Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow down about 6 or 7 somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you know, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, if you were I think that's normal. I mean, if you were more heavily influenced by the cartoon, I think on averages, that's what most cartoon guys would say.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Storm Shadow wasn't really a major player in the cartoon either.
Right.
So number 4, Destro. What do you think, Shane?
It'd go up to about 10 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Destro just wasn't really cool to me, I guess you would say, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think what made him such a favorite was the fact that he had the vac metal head when he was, you know, for the toy collect, for the the kid, you know.
Right.
But I kind of question this him being ahead of Duke.
Yeah.
Because
very much so.
if you look, Snake Eye is probably, if you look by number of actual figures made, you got more Snake Eyes than any, followed by probably Cobra Commander, then Duke, and then Storm Shadow. Would be my guess. I'd have to go. I'd have to look it up, but I would say those 4 have more action figures than any of the other characters. Obviously.
Duke is number 2 on the list for the most action figures.
Okay, so that's what I say. Those 4 is going to be in the top 4. Destro's not in. I wonder about that because it seems like Duke should be ahead of him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Corey?
I would say down 2. I think him and Duke should be swapped.
I'm at not to jump ahead, but I would swap out Duke and Destro, and I would swap out Baroness and Scarlet. I see that. I can see Duke and Scarlet at 5 and 6, 4 and 5, and then Destro and Baroness. Boy, I don't even know. This is going to sound horrible, but I'm not even sure I'd have Destro and Baroness in the top 10.
I don't think I would either.
I would have the Baroness, but Destro would definitely, he'd be in the top 10, but he would be 10. He would be pulling up the rear for sure.
Yeah, Baroness in the top 10 is a maybe. That's why I say believe it or not. But Destro would not be in my top 10. He just wouldn't. He just wouldn't. So, boy, let's just do it, right? I mean, Duke, up or down, Shane?
Oh, down. I'd move him to number 4 easily.
Yep. What do you think, Corey?
I'd have him at number 3.
Okay. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'd have him probably at number 3.
Okay.
Number 3 or number 4?
I would have him at 4. I would move him up to 4. Baroness. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
I would change her up with Scarlet also. I'd move Scarlet to 6 and her to 7.
Okay. What do you think, Corey?
She wouldn't even be in the top 10.
Scarlet wouldn't be in your top 10?
No, Baroness.
Oh, Baroness. Yeah, sorry.
I like redhead. She's staying in the top 10.
I'm looking at one thing and thinking another. No, Baroness wouldn't even be in your top 10, really?
No, sir. She'd be number 11.
Wow.
I don't know about it.
Quick Hit Spirit, Snake Eyes and cartoon. Yeah. Interesting. Boy, I have to tell you, I would move I would put Baroness at 10 just to keep her in the top 10. But that would be that for me. Scarlett, Miss Scarlett, where would you go? Up, down, stay? What do you think, Shane?
Like I said, I'd move her to 6.
Mhm.
Just swap her out with the Baroness.
What do you think, Corey?
I'd go to 5 just because she's a redhead.
Yep. What do you think, John?
I'd probably put her about 9 or 10.
Okay. Yep. I will tell you what I would do. You guys call me nuts, but what I would do. Not what I expected, but what I would have done, I would have put her at number 2.
Really?
I would have put her cartoon. I'm a comic guy. Scarlet would have been at 2. Coco would have stayed at 3. Storm Shadow would be at 4. That's how it would have fallen with me. But again, an extreme comic guy to this day, because Scarlet is still a major player. And of the originals, to be perfectly honest with you, Snake Eyes and Scarlet are the only real players left. Even Hawk is intermittent. But from the original players, there's Scarlet, there's Snake Eyes, and there's Coco. That's it. So I would really put her at 2. That, and like I said, that's probably controversial. So number 8, Mr. Zartan. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
He'd stay.
He'd stay right at 8?
Yep.
What do you think, Corey? What do you think?
Top 5.
Top 5. Yeah. What do you think, John?
I'd probably keep him in my top 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's in my top 10 somewhere. Just because he's always been a major player. I mean, all the way back to the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow storyline. So yeah, he'd be in my top 10. At 8, I'd be a stay. I'd keep him right at 8, I think.
Yeah. I'm a Dreadnought guy. Everybody knows that. And 8 is where, as far as the because I'm a cartoon guy also, and that's where I would put him at 8. I'd have him at 8.
Yep. Number 9, Firefly. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
Way up.
Way up, up.
I would probably move him to about 15 where Beachhead's at and put Beachhead in number 9.
Okay. Now, is that an Alabama thing or is it a...
Man, Beachhead was just always my favorite guy.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as...
And that's cool.
He was just always cool for me.
Yeah.
It don't hurt that he's a Bama boy neither.
Right.
And that he's from Auburn.
There you go.
Wait, who was that?
Oh, who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, neither do we.
No, I don't either. We won't remember him next week either. So, What do you think, Corey? Up, down, stay?
Oh, let me unmute his mic.
Oh, funny. I would have Gung Ho at number 9 and Firefly somewhere in the top 20.
Okay. What do you think, John?
Which one we're talking about again? Firefly?
Firefly.
He'd probably be on my second row.
Mm-hmm. Me, I have to be honest with you. I never liked Firefly. I don't know why. I just could never like that character. If I'm not even convinced Firefly would be in my second row, but if I had to choose one to swap him out with, it would be Major Blood. So either way, he's moving down the list because I would not have him in the top 10. That's just me. Mr. Flint, what do you think, Shane?
I'm going to trade him out.
Yep.
I would trade him out for Gung Ho.
Yep.
Move Flint to probably around 14, 13, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked Flint, but I just wasn't a whole big Flint front fan,
Right. Yes. Yep. What do you think, Corey?
I'd swap him out with General Hawk.
Okay. I can see that. I guess. What do you think, John?
Yeah, he'd been my top 20.
He'd be in the top 20, yeah.
You're kind of right on the. Probably a lot of these people that voted were probably comic, because if it were most of them were cartoon based, I would figure Lady J would be ahead of Scarlet on this list.
Oh yes,
because Lady J was in the cartoon a lot
lot
after that in that second season.
Yeah, she sure was.
Her and Flint both were in there a lot.
And Roadblock was a major. I mean,
Well, these were comic book guys. I would have doing this. I figured they'd have Scarlet up higher than 7.
Oh yeah, I would have. That's what I said.
Would have what now?
If they was comic book guys done this list, I'm figuring they'd have Scarlet up higher than 7.
Well, it's a mix. Yeah. I mean, it's you can kind of get an idea who might have had the majority, but it certainly wasn't all comic book guys, because this list wouldn't look anything like this, other than the number 1 and 2 spots, I think. Yeah. I have to be honest with you, Flint. I never liked Flint. I just didn't. He, you could probably hate me, but Flint wouldn't even be in my top 20. Gung Ho, because of my affection for the Marine Corps, would have been in the top 10. Anywhere in the top 10. So, but I just never liked Flint as a character. I just could not. Ever since he got, Lady J had to smack him in the face over the whole, Scarlet and Snake Eyes faking their deaths. In what issue, whatever it was, 25.
Yeah.
No, it was further. It was 37. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on up there. I think around 60, wasn't it? Because it was on the cover, wasn't it? You're talking about the one on the cover where she's
she's belting him again. That was over. Yeah. That was right after the Snake Eyes and Scarlet in the minefield cover, because they were going after Stalker and the other bunch that had been. So yeah, it was up there, wasn't it? Because
it was in the 50s, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
For me, Flint in the comics was too big of a crybaby.
Oh, he was a by the book. Just
he was always whining about everything, and just
annoying. So I'd move him, but Gung Ho would probably be in his place at number 10. Stalker. The boy, this really tells you the cartoon of the comic guys, doesn't it? Yeah. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
Way up.
Way up?
Not even in my top 50.
Okay.
I was just never a Stalker fan.
Yep.
I don't know. I just didn't like him in the cartoon or the comic.
Yep.
Which I only remember him in the cartoon a few times.
Yeah, he wasn't in the cartoon a lot.
He was a big player in the comics.
Big time.
Now, the Vietnam part of him, I like that part.
Yeah.
When he was with Snake Eyes and all of them, Quan and all of them over there, I liked him then. But later on in the comics, I don't know.
He had a rough time. He had a rough time later in the comics. But that issue with he and Rock and Roll in Arlington after the big kill off. That was a major thing. But
he wouldn't even be in my top 50.
Okay. What do you think, Corey? Up, down, stay?
Not in the top 50 for me. I'd have Sarge number 11.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think, John?
He'd probably be in my top 30. Mm-hmm. He'd probably be on that third row.
Yep.
That was issue 67, by the way.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed it was that far. Boy, time flies, don't it?
The Scarlet and Snake Eyes in Minefield was issue 63. So there was actually 3.
Yeah, there was quite a few issues there because they had to resolve that rescue mission. So yeah.
Timothy, that ain't even right, Timothy.
Now, would you stop it?
Stalker Ice Cream Soldier.
Just stop it.
I don't think Ice Cream Soldier even made the top 100, did he?
I don't think so.
He would take my top
1,000. Stalker would be in my top 20 just because of the the Snake Eyes Tommy connection, and of course, and that is still playing out. That is still playing out in the new run, the 300 plus. The whole Vietnam storyline is still playing out, so you can check that out and see what I mean.
I have not even read the first issue of that new run yet.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Number 12. This is. I guess it really doesn't matter. You can either be Colonel or General Hawk. It's Hawk. So, so what do you think, Shane? Up, down?
I'd keep him right where he's at.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. What do you think, Corey?
I swapped him with Flint, so I'm gonna have Flint right there.
Okay. What do you think, John?
He'd probably drop down on my third row.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. Probably around 25, somewhere in there.
Believe it or not, I would keep Hawkins in the second row. He's been a player since the beginning. So no doubt about that. He's been right there, hung right in there. I mean, went from a full bird colonel to a general, so that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Miss J at 13. What do you think, Shane?
Oh, I'd move her about middle of the third row. I'd probably swap her out with Zorana, to be honest with you.
That would make sense. What do you think, Corey?
She's gonna be on the third or fourth row. I would put Shipwreck right there.
What do you think, John?
I'd say probably third row.
Yep.
Probably around Hawk, around 25, 26, somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I'm not sure where I would stick her. Somewhere around where Flint is, probably in the third, possibly fourth row, to be perfectly honest with you. I have a hard time believing that Lady J came in ahead of Roadblock, ahead of Beachhead, ahead of Shipwreck, ahead of Gung Ho. I have a really hard time believing that particular result.
Yeah, me too.
I really do. This one I don't get. I think that one was heavy on the cartoon influence is the only reason I can think of. And if that is the case, she really shouldn't have come in above Roadblock, Shipwreck, and Gung Ho.
No.
You see what I mean?
The reason I got her that far down the list, every time I go into Ollie's, I see her.
Yeah, well. That'll sour you up. Mr. Roadblock at 14. What do you think, Shane?
He'd stay right there.
Yep. What do you think, Corey?
So he can stay.
Yep. John?
Yeah, probably right around in there somewhere. Yeah, he might move down to maybe 15 or 16.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as the rest of you guys. He's within 2 spaces of right where he is, one way or the other. I'm really not 100% sure. I was never a huge Roadblock fan. To be perfectly honest with you, I kind of found him a little ridiculous, actually, from him showing up in the cartoon. Freehand firing a Mauduce at a Rattler. No. And I've met some big men in my day.
I can tell my wife, John, it's a cartoon.
Oh, jeez, stop.
He has this thing about whenever she sees something medical on TV, she's like, nope, that ain't how that
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, I know.
I seen on Demolition Ranch, they had one of them, and it was all that Bill Goldberg could do to pick it up and carry it.
Well, they're heavy. I think loaded they're like 128 pounds or something. Something like that. But yeah, to fire one is a whole different animal. But yeah, no. Beachhead number 15. What do you think, Shane? You already moved him up anyways, didn't you?
Yeah, I already moved him to 10 and put Flint there at 15.
Yeah, okay. Where are you at with him, Corey?
I'm gonna move him down 1 spot to 16, and I'm putting Rock and Roll right there.
Okay. What do you think, John?
I don't know. He'd probably go in my third row.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Smoking crack.
It's it's the no deodorant thing. That's what gets me. I can't,
It is a kind of weird, isn't it?
He's got to, he needs to wear deodorant. If you're gonna be in the military,
he's the same way. All right.
Yeah, right. I'd keep him in this row. I'm not sure where. I always liked the aesthetic of the figure. I really liked the way he looked. Always did. His attitude in the cartoon was really lousy. Like he was out for promotion. That kind of bugged me about the character, but I didn't see any of that in the comic, if I remember right. But I always liked the design. Beachhead's hard not to like. He'd be in this row. I'm not sure where though. 16, Major Blood. Up, down, stay, Shane.
He'd stay there for me.
Okay. What do you think, Corey?
Down. Beachhead be there. He might be in the top 30.
Okay. What do you think, John?
Yeah, he'd probably go in my 4th row.
Okay.
Or 5th. He might. I don't know if I'd put him in my top 50 or not.
Really, that low?
I just never was a big Major Blood fan.
Yeah. I'd move him down a row, possibly 2. But from a comic perspective, Major Blood was a major player. He and the Baroness and, the whole Billy thing and everything else, he was a major, you got to understand from a comics perspective, if it wasn't for Major Blood, the Baroness wouldn't have existed past issue 10. So there's that, I guess. So I'm not sure. I would move him down. He might be, I think he'd be in the 20s, but he'd still be relatively high up. The Twins. Where you at, Shane? Up, down, stay.
They definitely go up in my list.
Yeah.
Way up too. But I don't know. I never really was on board with them guys.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you get punched in the face and your brother feels it. Yeah, nah. You know about all that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I would probably move Rock and Roll and Tunnel Rat into their spots.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I would definitely not swap them with those two. They would probably be around 50s for me on them two.
Yep.
Even though I do love the Crimson Guard, one of the best troop builders in my opinion, but I just wasn't really crazy about these guys.
Right. What do you think, Corey?
I would have Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender there. They wouldn't even be in my top 30.
Okay. You, John?
I don't know if I'd probably be down. I don't even know if I'd have my top 50 or not. I can't stand people that finish each other's sentences for one night. That's a knockdown. That's like that little goody two shoe couple. It's like you just can't stand to be around them, too.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Proper into each other.
Right.
In the cartoon, they did kind of get on my nerves even as a kid. It's like, I'd say they probably down about 60 or so. I'd say.
They'd be in my 40s just because they've been really prominent characters, but not well liked by me either, honestly. Mr. Shipwreck. Boy, we're not even going to get anywhere near the first 50. Mr. Shipwreck. What do you think, Shane?
I'd keep him right where he's at.
Yeah. What do you think, Corey?
Well, I moved him up already, so I'd have Zorana right there.
Okay.
The only reason I'd keep him there is because of Polly.
Mm-hmm. He really was an annoying character, wasn't he?
He was annoying.
Yeah, for a Navy SEAL, it's kind of weird. But
Polly wanting a cracker,
yeah,
I got to keep him there.
I'd keep him in the top 20 just for the Cracker Jacks alone.
Yeah. What do you think, John?
I'd probably keep him in my top 20. I like Shipwreck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the top 20, and that's just because of the cartoon, honestly. He was not a major factor in the comic at all. Mr. Gung Ho. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
I would probably move him down the list. I'd probably move him around to probably about 14, but I wouldn't, I'd just move him about where Stalker is. The list down, Hawk to 11, Lady J 13, Roadblock 14, him about 15.
Okay.
Because that's it. Gung Ho was always just cool.
Yeah, he's hard not to be cool, right?
He was just hard nosed.
Yep.
And he'd fight in a heartbeat.
I always liked when he's laying bare belly in the Arctic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know he's tough doing that.
Yeah. You know he's dead too. What do you think, Corey?
Well, I moved him up because he reminds me a lot of my grandpa.
Yep.
But at 20, I think I would have Lady J.
Okay. What do you think, John? Mr. Gung Ho, where is he?
I'd probably keep him around 20. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I would. I already said he'd be in my top 10. But that again, that's a personal thing. So now this will get interesting. Mr. 21, Sergeant Slaughter. Where do you think, Shane? Up, down?
About 65.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome. What do you think, Corey?
Well, I contradicted the Auburn fan. I think he was in my top. I think he was like 11 or 12. I think it was 11 for me. I'd have Wild Bill right here.
Mm-hmm. Where would you put Slaughter?
He was number 11 on my list.
Oh, okay. Yep. What do you think, John? Where is he at with you?
Number 5 or number 6.
That high, really?
Oh, yeah.
This is interesting. It's very interesting. You guys really want to know where I'd put him?
I'm going to say you put him in the bottom 50.
Oh, no. Yeah, I wouldn't even have him in the top 100.
Mm.
I really wouldn't.
I get it because to me, he just come in, later in the series for the movie and whatnot. I just
I have to tell you guys, I always saw Sergeant Slaughter as a money grab. They tied him into wrestling. They tied Joe into wrestling. Yep. Because there was money to be made there. Sergeant Slaughter, I have to be honest with you guys, there's a part of me that there's a part that is bothered by Sergeant Slaughter's character because he didn't serve. And to come across as, the biggest, baddest Joe of all time, based on a real person, I just had a hard time with that. I'm sure he's the nicest man on the planet. I hold him no ill will. But as a character, I wouldn't even have him on this list. I just wouldn't. So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I found him kind of ridiculous. I just did. So.
Yep, I did too.
Yeah, so that's awesome. 22, Serpentor. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
Probably right next door to Sergeant Slaughter.
Really? That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think, Corey?
I just wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I moved him up. He was in my top 20. I would have Lowlight right there.
What do you think, John?
He'd be right below Ice Cream Soldier for me.
Really? I love the Serpentor deal in the cartoon.
I hated Serpentor because I'm a Coco guy, and I'm like, he's moving in on Coco's territory.
Exactly.
I hated Serpentor.
Yep.
It was called Cobra Commander. It wasn't called Serpentor.
Now, as far as the classified figure is awesome, I'll say that. But the character himself, he just, he was like one of them that was, like, this I command, but yet whenever he screwed up, he blamed it on everybody else.
Right.
Exactly. And he wasn't any better than Cobra Commander at giving orders either.
Serpentor, I would put Serpentor down in the 80 row, and there's one reason for that, because the best thing that Serpentor ever did was take one of Sartan's arrows to the face. So yeah, no, I mean, cool design. I love the design of Serpentor.
Yeah.
The character development was terrible. Terrible. Mr. Craig McConnell, rock and roll.
Yeah, I would have moved him into my top 20.
Yeah.
You're reaching now, Timothy. You're reaching.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think, Corey? Rock and roll.
I moved him up into my top 20s, but so I would have Spirit right here.
Okay. What do you think, John? Rock and roll.
I'd probably leave him right there where he's at.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think we're going to get through 25 looking at the clock, that'd be cool, right? It gives us something else to do.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you guys. Having been partial to the M60, I loved rock and roll always. And because you know what, he was an OG Vietnam guy with the rest of them in the comics. Rock and roll would be easily in my top 12. So I would move him way up the list. By at least half. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I really like rock and roll. It was everything about rock and roll I liked. Now this one's probably going to be fun. Dr. Mindbender. What do you think, Shane? Up, down, stay?
Way up in the 80s.
Okay.
Just not a fan of Dr. Mindbender at all.
Yep.
I mean,
he and Serpentor seem to be tied at the hip.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. What do you think, Corey?
Well, I had him in my top 20, so I would have to bring in right here Mutt and Junkyard.
Cool. What do you think, John? Mr.
Oh yeah, he's below Serpentor for me. There's just something creepy about it.
Thank you.
It's like Mr. Moneybags with no shirt on. It's kind of creepy.
I will tell you, he would not only be tied to the hip of Serpentor, he would be chained to him and off my list. There is something disturbing about Mindbender in so many different ways, and none of it was necessary.
you reminded me of a guy from the YMCA club.
An S&M dentist.
Yeah.
He might be a crazy Nazi scientist.
The whole shirtless purple cape bodybuilder vibe, just too weird for me.
He's a doctor. Technically he's not a bodybuilder. More likely that's steroids.
Yeah, well, he's good at it because he's no, off the list. I'm dead serious. Off the list. Yeah, off the list. He's cool as a figure, but as far as usefulness, no, he's I can't stand the character actually. I think I'll go as far as to say Dr. Mindbender was the beginning of the end of an awful lot of the character designs, because it's just too weird, just out there weird. So that's Xanadu. Yeah, okay. Anyways,
I would definitely probably put Dr. Venom in his place.
Yeah, I'd take Venom any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even like Dr. Venom, man.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I just didn't like him.
Best thing he did was blow up.
Yeah, he was a good bad guy scientist, I guess you'd say. To me,
we got the brainwave scanner because of Venom, not Mindbender.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, again, major player. We'll sew it up at 25. This has actually been fun. We'll do this again next week. We'll pick up at 26. You guys good with that?
I'm gonna sit down and make my whole list out. That way I don't have to. I remember who I put where.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Mr. Spirit Iron Knife at 25.
I would move him down to 21, 22, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just really cool. I mean, who don't want someone on your team that's got an eagle?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. You send the eagle off to peck out somebody's eyeballs that made you mad.
Yeah.
Now, John's going to have to help me here because I can't remember. Spirit was actually the first figure with a mascot, right? He was before Timber, the figure, and before Polly, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's something to be said for that because we got Timber in V3, V2 Snake Eyes.
Timber was second, I do believe, and then Polly.
So,
you had Timber, Junkyard, and Polly all in '85.
Yeah.
Spirit was in '84.
Yes. So he just squeaked out with as the first one with a mascot animal.
Yeah.
Even though Timber was in the first cartoon.
Yeah.
But he didn't show up in the comics until much later either. So there's that to be said for Spirit. So where'd you put him, Shane?
I put him about 21, 22.
Okay. So a move, but not a big one.
Yeah. I'd move him down some.
Yeah. What do you think, Corey?
I had him at 22 or 23. I would, for the 25th, I'd have Bazooka.
Old Zoot. Gotta love it. What do you think, John?
I'd probably put him about 12.
That high? Wow, nice.
Yeah. I always like Spirit.
Nice.
In the cartoon,
character.
he whooped up on Storm Shadow in the cartoon quite a
He
bit.
did.
Yeah, which made absolutely no sense.
He tapped into his inner what is it? Spirit animal.
His weasel.
See, all the Native Americans they can tap into that fighting style. See, that's how Chuck Norris he does it all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but you do notice Chuck Norris is not on this list anywhere, so stay focused.
Chuck Norris gets his own list.
Yeah, it would be G.I. Chuck if he was, and he'd be the only one on the list.
Yeah, he's up, Chuck.
Well, if you got Chuck Norris, do you really need any other G.I. Joe to send in?
That's what somebody in one of the Joe groups said. So we need Chuck Norris and G.I. Joe. I said, if you had Chuck Norris and G.I. Joe, there wouldn't be any other team. It would just be Chuck Norris.
That's right. Spirit would be in the top 20 for me, so he'd move at least 5 points because he was a popular character and he's cool. So I don't know. You guys want to hang it up there?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We're breaking our point.
At 9 o'clock now.
That was actually fun. Do you guys like that?
Oh,
Yeah.
That was cool. So we'll spend the next few weeks tearing up that in my segment, I think, because I think this was a good idea. This has been great talking about, actually, because the difference in opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and make my whole list out. That way I can remember who I got where.
Yeah.
I want to hit on one more thing before we go. I heard a rumor mill, I think it was Shark News, that Hasbro is going to throw a curveball into the new HasLab, and they're going to skip Cobra and go to G.I. Joe, and it could be possibly the Marauder tank or the Wolverine.
I don't think so. I think it's still going to be the Rattler.
They said that they were going to save the aircraft for the HasLab. If we saw a tank, I saw that thing too, and the thinking was a Joe tank to go against the Hiss. But you got to understand, the Dragonfly is an anti-tank helicopter, so I think you got your tie there. I think they're going to stick to their word and do aircraft for HasLabs. The Wolverine would easily be $100, $125 open shelf item.
Well, we've already got CoverGirl. If we don't need a CoverGirl, we've already got her.
Right. It would be Thunder Machine, Wolverine, Snowcat, right? Stinger. In that category of vehicle, I think I got to tell you guys, if you start talking about making a Mauler tank that is large enough to put 2 6-inch figures in the nose of, that's a lot bigger than a Hiss tank. I don't know.
Well, you got to think our Dragonfly's 3 foot long.
It is, but it's also about this wide. You see what I'm saying?
A Mauler tank ain't going to be much longer than that.
No, but it would be a lot wider.
It'd be a little bit wider than the Hiss tank, probably.
Yeah,
I heard everybody
you probably
crying about
18 inches on it wide.
About the Rattlers coming. I reckon it's upset some people at Hasbro.
Why?
I reckon they want to keep the community thinking, so I reckon they want to throw curveballs. What they're claiming now.
I don't think so. But
I'd be happy
this close to June,
I tell you what, at this point in time, Hasbro's apt to get the curveball thrown at them because this economy is probably not going to support a $300 toy selling out in 26 minutes like it has years prior. I think Hasbro's in for a rude awakening is just how bad it is out here in the real world. Because I'm sitting here.
I agree.
If that sucker pops up next month, here's the truth. If that sucker pops up next month, which is the speculation that they will at least announce it, possibly not pre-orders until July, but if they announce that thing next month for Yojo June and it goes up for pre-order in July, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I can tell you right now, looking at it with my binocular vision, makes no difference. I will not have the money for a HasLab this year. There's just no way.
That's what my thinking is. I'm thinking the Wolverine because you've already got CoverGirl out. Yeah, they throw a couple of odds and then repaints and get it out the door for less than $200.
I just don't see them doing a HasLab without and it being a vehicle without the main character for that vehicle.
Yeah, because you have to have a wild weasel. You have to have a pilot, a driver to justify the money. Yeah, we wouldn't have bought $100 vamp if it didn't come with clutch. Let's be realistic.
Exactly.
So, gentlemen, I guess we will find out soon enough. But I don't believe for 1 second I'm in any different condition than most of the rest of us. The likelihood of me even being able to buy into a HasLab this year, wanted or otherwise, is irrelevant. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it.
Gonna be a lot of penny scraping.
It's going to be a his tank year, right? I was not able to do the his tank. The good news is the his tank is affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? Just the Sky Striker HasLab is selling for what it went for retail.
Yep.
So am I going to feel horrible that I don't get one? No, because if this economy keeps going in the direction it's in, I might be able to buy one from a scalper for less than he paid for it.
Exactly.
Next year. You see what I'm saying? So I think Hasbro needs to be very, very careful about this HasLab. I think they need to be real careful about price. I think they better seriously consider extending their deadline. Honestly. I don't think they should even think about doing pre-orders for it until we've got our Dragonflies in our hand. You call me crazy on that one, but I firmly believe
we're not going to have that Dragonfly in hand until late fall.
Well, they're claiming August or September, but that's why I'm telling you it's a bad idea to do another HasLab until we have that Dragonfly in our hands. And I'm telling you guys, they may want to consider doing a deposit system, not pay all up front.
I agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I was going to say if they were smart, I mean, they saw how the first two sold so quickly, they would already have the mold and all created, ready to go into production by the time that goes up. That way they can get it to us within 8 or 9 months instead of 18 months.
Because I can tell you this right now, because the addictive property of this, let's get real.
Yep.
They could do 2 HasLabs a year if they were ready to produce them at the time that we ordered them, right? Yeah. If you could turn a HasLab in 6 months, they could easily move 2 of them a year. Because G.I. Joe, good Lord, guys, look at this list that we're going over. All but 30 of those figures are either have been made or the name has been revealed.
Yep.
We need vehicles bad because 80% of G.I. Joe is the vehicles. Good night, buddy.
Yep.
So, guys, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think this HasLab's going to go well, no matter what it is. But
because for me, the Rattler, I don't have no attachment. Like I did with the Dragonfly and Wild Bill.
Boy, I think that sucker will. I think there's a lot of attachment for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at what the Rattler is selling for now, a lot of people want the Rattler.
Yeah, because most of them are in bad shape.
Yeah, the vintage Rattler, I mean, people buy them, snatch them up all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I'm just looking at this realistically. I think I'm a lot like everybody else. My cards are maxed. They've slowly but surely become maxed out with the higher interest rates over the last 18 months. Whether I was spending or not didn't really matter.
They got to do something with interest rates. This is ridiculous.
Well, it's just it's wiping me out because I mean I used to have I had a couple of my Arashikage top secret ninja credit cards that I had for certain toy emergencies. But because of my business and whatnot, I always had my gun cards, right?
Yeah.
And my gun cards, I don't ever max out my gun cards. And you guys will know why, because things pop up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if something comes out and I need it, or I need to replace something that I have or whatever, right? But you know what? My gun cards are no good for toys.
Right.
because they're shop cards or they're manufactured. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't go to Hasbro Pulse with like uncards. So it's got nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
All my other cards are maxed out. And I'm not looking to get more to buy a HasLab. That makes no sense. When some of these things, I got one in the mail the other day. It's just like, oh, you should sign up for our card. It's like, I always, first thing I do is I flip it over and I read the box on the back at the top of the back of the top of the page, right? 34.99% interest rate. It's like, you smoked your breakfast if you think I'm going to sign up for 34 point. That used to be called loan sharking.
Yep.
Right? That gets your butt in prison. Now that's normal? Nah, don't give me a friggin' break.
That reason I'm saving money, according to Amazon, the next wave of Joe's, May the 30th.
Well, those
and Hasbro's got them for Hasbro has them for July the 15th.
Well,
that's about right, though.
Yeah. The general release stuff is like lowest on my priority because those will be easier to find. I am trying to put a little back for a HasLab because the harder things, and if you do find one, even if you buy it at cost on eBay, you're gonna pay a fortune out of shipping. Yes. The bigger things, if I can get, I try to save up for those.
Sure.
And the general release, and they may be one that ends up going for $100, and later on down the road when I get in better shape, I'll pay it if I have to get it. But the general release so far, they hadn't been that hard to find.
Just the Viper Island stuff was the worst. Everything else has been fine.
And even it wasn't after they'd done that second go around about a year later. Most everybody got the Viper Island stuff.
Well, out of this last wave of figures, only thing I didn't see around here was Scarlet.
I saw her GameStops.
Yeah, she's around. She's around, but not as many as the Dukes, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, he's everywhere.
Timothy's comment about the Zezel, or there's a couple of other outfits. They're basically like they're like eBay pay in 4.
Yeah.
PayPal. Yeah, and some of them are interest free if you do like the 4 payment or whatever. Now, I mean, it's a good. Even that, Timothy. Even that, if Hasbro were to get with one of those companies, that's what I meant by like a deposit system. Because they know they're getting their money, and they know they're going to get their money. And especially if they go no refunds, if the production is that dependent on that money, then you know what? If you pre-order one and you made 1 or 2 payments, you don't get your money back if you bail. That I could get, but they're going to have to do something creative here. Because I'm telling you, I don't see a Rattler coming in at $300 like the Dragonfly did. Not the way things are now.
No way.
Mattel on the Eternia playset, they let you do 4 payments.
They got to get creative, man.
And they went ahead and went into production with it when they got the number they needed, but they let people do 4 payments over the course of the time that it took to get it out.
Then that, you know what? Get creative, because there's a lot of us that have credit. We got the numbers, we just don't want the cards. You see what I'm saying by that? You guys all get it. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
But boy, you gotta. On top of all that, you better come up with something freaking spectacular for. I'm guessing at least $50 more.
Yep.
At least I'm thinking in the $350 range, if not higher, for a Rattler, if it's true.
I'm gonna say $399.
It may go as high as 4, Corey. It just might.
Possibility.
It just might, because the regular figures are at $30 now. No matter how you want to slice it, they're at $30 now. You pay your taxes and everything else on, you're paying $30 a figure. So, I mean, you add one figure, you get a wild weasel in there. Yeah, I think $400 is there goes Timothy. I'm thinking 400 at the least. Yeah.
I was looking to see right off the bat, the very first HasLab, the Jabba Cell Barge was $499.99. It's $500. Of course, I don't think it'd be that big, but I mean, I was sitting there thinking, well, maybe they got a cap on it, but apparently, if they do, it's $500.
Well,
I take that back. That Ultron, the Unicron was $574.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's
Holy
a precedent.
cow.
There's a precedent for it.
I had no idea it was that much.
But I can tell you right now, here, the more I sit here and think about it, and I know we're going way over. If something gets owed, Shane, let me know.
We probably fix to get cut off.
Yeah, we're right at that point.
Yeah. So $400. I'll say $400, and if we pay $400, the next round of vehicles will be closer to 130, not 100 like the Vamp.
Mm-hmm.
Because we will have told them what we'll pay. So.
Yep.
So next week. See ya.
Later, people. And something tells you if that thing is $400,